Thank you, Madam President. This particular bill, I would call it the bill of the year, has generated the most significant amount of calls, emails, and contacts this year for at least my office, and it seems to have certainly woken up a particular constituency. It also, for me, had the largest turnout for a committee meeting. We had an hour and a half of people lined up, not as big as SB 277, but pretty substantial for me, being on a committee and listening. These people were passionate and they had a determination. And so it brings to mind maybe we have some misconceptions on conversion therapy. I obviously oppose shock treatments, marbles in the mouth, lobotomies. These were all provided to us as conversion therapy, and certainly would oppose all three of those. But I also know the power of the Holy Spirit and how God can perform miracles and healings. And so with this bill, we have a collision between the physical and spiritual realms, and it's been quite an interesting year. I don't know how to explain spiritual matters on the floor. But during the Joint Committee on Rules Subcommittee on Sexual Harassment Prevention and Response, I asked several times, was there counseling to assist victims? You know, in this very critical area of serious wounds, we need counseling. We heard the pain in Judiciary Committee with the personal testimony of Chantel Cousineau. Senator Jackson had her as a witness, and I, as vice chair, I let her go for 9 minutes. I didn't cut her off at 2 minutes. She had a lot to share. She was deeply impacted, and you could certainly see that she was from her experience of violation. And victims want and need counseling. They need counseling by trained psychologists and psychiatrists, and they should be compensated. You don't muzzle the ox. But AB 2943 is stating that utilizing such professionals and their services for those who perhaps after a traumatic sexual violation perhaps must not compensate such services if they wish counseling. And that just doesn't make economic sense. Does Sacramento want to create a black market or an underground service? I think we're missing a key component of this discussion. It's these individuals who, after dramatic spiritual encounter with God, have had a miraculous conversion with their sexual preference and sex lives, and they've come to us and they've said, boy, now we're really getting disenfranchised, and how do we deal with that after being in one group and going to the next? And they risk their private intimacy with us in giving their testimonies in committee. So I think this is why the faith-based community has contacted all of us, and I appreciate even the senator from Carmel who received a lot of Bibles and gave them to the local rescue mission. I think, you know, good thing, but I don't think any professional can guarantee an outcome. I don't think a surgeon can. I don't think a mechanic can. And so I don't know how we're somehow focused on this word, a guaranteed outcome. Legislating bad apples is what we should be doing. And then we let the marketplace weed out the guys that are just wasting our time and are unnecessary. We had a bill 2 years ago requiring that a sign be posted in crisis prevention or pregnancy crisis centers, and that was just recently overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. I think this particular bill may face the same result, which would require the spending of a lot of taxpayer dollars to fight this out in the courtrooms. So colleagues, I would just encourage you to be careful when getting between an honest patient seeking answers to an honest concern with an honest professional counselor who is willing to listen and to pray with his or her client, because God can change hearts. So why punish the messengers or the therapists? Seeking spiritual and physical purity should be encouraged, and I respectfully request a no vote on AB 2943.